Welcome to my 2019 road trip. I've got 8 nights ahead of me and I'm just getting off the ferry from the Isle of Wight over to Portsmouth, and I don't actually know where I'm going yet for the first 48 hours. I'm hoping Lynch Hill's going to be open, although I heard that they were spawning recently, so they may have shut it. So I'm going to go there anyway and see, but if not, there's a few lakes around there that I can check out. But yeah, I'm sure I'll end up somewhere. So stay tuned to see where we end up for the first 48 hours. We've got an exciting week coming up, and there's going to be 4 videos for this series, 2019 road trip. If you saw my last year's road trip, we did 3 videos. Had a couple of 30s, so a really good road trip, you know. And I'm meeting up with my same mate, Matt, who I went with last year, although he's not coming for the first 48 hours. We'll talk about that a bit later, but yeah, we're just getting off the ferry
turn left onto
as you can see,
then turn right onto St George's Road.
And the sat-nav's telling me where to go. So yeah, we're just gonna drive up to Oxford now, see what Lynch Hill's saying. If they're shut, then I'll be looking elsewhere, but yeah, I'll keep you updated, and hopefully we'll find somewhere to do a couple of nights.
Turn right onto St George's Road. First exit onto Godshill Services.
Well, we've arrived at Lynch Hill fishery. You might be able to see the sign behind me there. Hopefully you can see that. And yeah, the car park's empty, and there's a sign saying closed due to spawning, which I did have a bit of a feeling that might happen, but couldn't see anything on their Facebook or their website or anything, so I thought I'd come and check it out. I tried to ring up as well, but nobody answered. So it's one of them, you know, you just gotta turn up and see, really. And unfortunately, yeah, they are spawning, so leave them to it, you know, let them get on with what they do best. So yeah, we're going to be looking for other venues. I'm going to go on my phone now and have a little check around. I know there's Linear just up the road, but that's going to be mental on there because it's Friday now, you know, so I don't fancy that. But I might look at Orchid Lakes, which isn't too far away, and there's a few others in the area, so I'll keep you posted, guys. And yeah, we'll see what happens, eh?
In 100 yards, turn left. Turn left.
Right, guys, I've just phoned up Orchid Lakes, which is about half an hour away from Lynch Hill.
In 3/4 of a mile, turn right onto Stand Lake Road.
And they've said that it's pretty quiet at the moment and the fish aren't spawning, so I'll be alright to do 48 hours this weekend, so that's absolutely spot on. Never been there before, but I've heard a lot about it. It's quite well known, obviously. So yeah, we've got half an hour's drive and we should be there. The bloke on the phone was really nice, so looking forward to getting there, and I'll update you when I've found my swim and got settled down. Here it is, guys, Orchid Lake. Absolutely beautiful. I'm not used to waters this sort of size. Where I live on the Isle of Wight, you know, it's sort of 2 acres max, most of the waters I fish, and well, I don't know how big this is. It's got to be getting on for like 15 or more, I don't know, I'm just guessing. But yeah, just having a walk around, trying to find a swim, well, trying to find some fish, and then trying to find a swim near to them. It's fishing hard apparently, but the guys had a couple of fish. You know, sort of in the middle body of the lake, so I'm certainly going to be keeping my eyes on that area, but it's not exactly fishing its nuts off, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm going to keep walking around and hopefully catch up to you when I've got settled into my swim. Right, guys, we're right by the road here that passes by the lake, but so hopefully you can hear me. But yeah, I've put a bucket in the swim here. I've decided on this swim. Gives me a bit of open water, and also over there I've got a bit of a point there which you can't fish from that side, so I can fish over to there, and it's a bit of a passing point for fish coming into this bay. But I'll talk to you a bit about that a bit more when I get settled in, but I need to go get my gear and get set up. So this swim is called the Top Dugout, and yeah, it commands a fair bit of water, and there's no one in the swims either side of me as well, so yeah, it's looking good. I'll catch you in a bit. Right, well here we are, all settled into my swim. So I think it's called the Top Dugout, this swim, and to the left of me is a bay, quite a narrow channel that sort of goes off away from the main body of the lake. And when I walked around, I saw quite a few fish in there, but they were kind of milling around on the surface. They didn't really look like they were sort of feeding fish, if you like. They were just resting up in the daytime. So where I've gone is kind of the entrance to that bay, and I can fish from my swim over to the far margin. It's only about 40 yards, well it's 11 wraps, 44 yards, to the sort of point where the land, the bank if you like, comes round, and there's reeds, nice reed line there, and I found a clear spot in between two reed beds where I think the fish will probably patrol through. So I've actually got 2 rods on that spot. And I've gone in fairly light baiting tactics. I've got a spod mix of corn, hemp and Escort boilies in 10mm and 15mm, and a little bit of Escort serum in there as well, just to boost the attractiveness. And I've fished my withy pool rigs over the top with white Escort pop-ups, and I'm just hoping that tonight, as the temperature drops, the fish will sort of venture out of that bay to my left and come across that little baited area. I only put sort of 10 spawns out over 2 rods, so I didn't go crazy. I'm only here for 48 hours down at Orchid Lakes, and yeah, I didn't want to go mad because I'm over here like a short session, like I said. Well, 48 hours is quite a long time. There's people down here for a week, so you know, just trying to nick a bite really, and then build on that. So I haven't gone mad. And my third rod, so that's my left and my middle rods are going out to that point where the bank goes round, coming out of the bay, and then my right hand rod, my third rod, basically I looked at the tree line opposite me and I saw where there's like an obvious dip in the trees, and I figured, well, a lot of people probably aim for that sort of area, so there might be a clear spot out there. So I just got my marker rod with a bare lead on it and just chucked it out sort of as far as I could and dragged it back, and I found like to the left of the area there's like a 3-foot gravel hump, and then down the side of it is 6-foot kind of clear kind of clay or silt area with no weed, and this lake's really weedy, but out there, you know, there's a nice clear area next to a gravel bar which might be a bit of a patrol route for the fish. I felt like going on top of the bar, there's a lot of coots and, you know, ducks and stuff in here, and I thought if I put any bait out they'd be diving on me straight away. But coming down the bottom of the bar, I'm hoping during the night or sometime in the early morning I'll pick up a fish that's maybe patrolling kind of from the very middle of the lake where they seem to be spending a lot of time patrolling into this bay to my left that I talked about, and they kind of got to come past that bar if they sort of go in a straight line from the middle of the lake. So yeah, I'm sort of hedging my bets a little bit. I've got one kind of in the open water straight out, which is 13.5 wraps, I think, something like that. And I've just put like 10 spoms over that one, over the corner of the hemp and the escort. And then yeah, my other rod's in the entrance to this bay, like I said. All the rods are on my really cool rigs. You'll have seen those before. I've actually done a video how to tie it, so I'll link that down below. I'm not going to go through it again because I think I've actually done 2 videos on it. You'd be sick of seeing that, but you know, with the pool rig works for me everywhere I go, so why change? I'm fishing lead clips because it's very weedy, so I want to dump the lead and get the fish up to the surface out of harm's way. And I'm fishing tubing as well because there's no leaders allowed on here. I normally like to fish like an unleaded leader, or I have done the last couple of years. But yeah, I've got tubing on because that's the rules, you've got to stick to them, haven't you? No, it's a lovely lake here. Just Friday late afternoon now. The lake's kind of fairly busy. There's probably, I don't know, 15 or so guys on here. A few doubled up and then the odd sort of 1 or 2 dotted around as well. But yeah, stunning place to be. Still got, yeah, we've got tonight and then tomorrow night ahead of us before we move on Sunday to another venue for part 2 of this road trip. So yeah, I think I said earlier in the video, this is like my 2019 road trip. I did a road trip last year, 2018, 3 videos for that one, so I'll link them below if you want to check those out after this. But yeah, this is part 1 of the 2019 road trip, and we're doing 4 different venues in 8 days, so it's going to be pretty intense, pretty hectic, and a lot of different waters to tackle. So I'm going to be taking a few tactics and, you know, the strategies, how I choose my spots and all that along the way. So I hope you enjoy it, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and yeah, keep watching. Hopefully something happens tonight, and if not, then I'll update you in the morning. Well, good morning, guys. If I'm looking a little bit dishevelled this morning, it's because I've not really had any sleep, and not for good reasons, I might add. Just laid there sort of hearing the fish crashing and kept sort of getting up wondering whether I should be repositioning rods, but you know, they're kind of crashing all over and you can't keep recasting and just chasing the fish around. You know, sooner or later you've got to wait for them to come to you. So I've kind of left my 2 left-hand rods, my left and my middle rod, if you like, the ones that are kind of on this point behind me here, because I felt like that was a good spot. You know, it was nice and clear. It's on a sort of marginal patrol route in and out of the bay, and the fish were definitely in the bay yesterday, so I kind of left them, but I re-chucked them this morning and just put fresh baits on, and actually the baits were gone off those, so I'm glad I did that. I wonder whether there's any crayfish in the lake, maybe. No one's told me there is, but you know, when your baits start going missing, you wonder about that sort of thing. But my right hand rod that was kind of straight out in front of me, I've actually repositioned down my right hand margin because there's been loads of shows and loads of fizzing and activity just sort of in front of the next swim along from me, and there's no one in that swim, so I thought I'd do that. And I've actually put a chod rig on that one because I couldn't really get a decent drop in that area. It all seems quite weedy on the bottom, and with a chod rig, you know, you kind of hope that it sits nicely over the top. It's fairly slowly sinking the bait, you know, so it should sort of settle on top of any weed, hopefully. And I've just scattered about 20 baits in the area, and I have had fish actually sort of show right where I cast that rod, and I did have a little liner as well, so you know, I feel like I'm in the right areas, but they have been showing kind of in my water quite a bit of this morning, and that's partly why I've not slept. You know, sort of stayed up quite late and then tried to get to sleep, and then sort of started hearing the show, so I was just up watching and listening. So yeah, I've not actually had any sleep, and I nearly sort of drifted off again this morning, and then another massive show sort of out to my right. So yeah, all a bit exciting, but pretty knackered now. But yeah, the plan for today is really just to keep watching the water. It's going to be another hot day. You can already see behind me it's quite bright this morning, so I imagine they're going to be up in the layers probably. I don't think you're allowed to fish cigwigs on here, and there's a lot of seagulls around, so I feel like floaters might be a waste of time, so we might just be waiting for the evening and overnight period. Again, sorry about the traffic noise, we are sort of right next to a road here. There's not an awful lot to tell you at the moment, it's pretty quiet. I don't think anyone else caught last night. I did hear someone's alarm go off, but then I heard lots of swearing, so I think he may have lost that one. There's a couple of swims down to my right that fish over some bars, and I think the bars are pretty sharp, and they tend to cut you off if you're not kind of locked up and everything, and I think that's probably what's happened, but I'm not absolutely certain. But yeah, it's not exactly fishing prolifically at the moment. Kind of reminds me of my French session a little bit. I've just seen a dragonfly nymph crawling out of the lake, and if you saw my French trip, that was a very hard week, although I did end up catching one of the biggest in the lake by the end of the week. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But yeah, this session reminds me of that a little bit, because we've had sort of, you know, clear cold nights and sunny days, and sort of a bit of an insect hatch as well, and it just makes the fishing really hard this time of year. You really want kind of those overcast, kind of breezy days, to be honest, at this time of year, so the fish feel a bit more comfortable, and you know, low pressure to get them down on the bottom feeding. But you know, even as we speak, I've just seen one showing off to my right again, so I'm glad I moved that right hand rod. You know, I wasn't seeing much out in open water where I had it, so I thought I might as well move it, and I probably will keep it that way now for the next 24 hours until we leave tomorrow sort of early morning to go on the next leg of this adventure. So yeah, stay tuned guys. Hopefully we'll have a fish to show you on this session. Make sure you subscribe obviously to the channel so you don't miss the further sort of sessions in this little series. As I said, there's going to be 4 videos, so that could be some nice fish along the way hopefully, and we're doing a bit of river fishing as well, so that's a bit different. Hopefully a barbel or a carp or 2 will come along on that video, so yeah, we'll see what happens on the rest of this session. I've seen fish in my area, I'm confident, you know, I've got baits and rigs that I'm confident in, so yeah, it's all to play for still. Just a little bit gutted nothing happened last night, but that's carp fishing sometimes, isn't it? So yeah, just got a coffee on, gonna have a little sit down and watch the water, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Saturday, just after lunchtime now, and we've had a bit of a game plan change. So I was fishing with the pool rigs and all 3 rods, as I said before, and I had 2 rods on one spot over to the reeds and then one out in open water, and I was seeing quite a lot of fish showing off to my right, where in front of the next swim along, and there's quite a lot of weed there, but I was seeing fish, and I think I said earlier I put a trod rig out there, but I wasn't really getting a very good drop. So what I've done today, I've wound in all my rods and gone and done a bit of marker leading and found a really nice little clear gravelly spot out there where those fish were showing. So that's getting a rod tonight, definitely. Hopefully them fish are going to come back. Maybe it's an area they like, you know, there's a bit of weed around, there might be a bit of natural food. So I've not gone crazy with the bait, I've just put maybe like 20, 15mm Escort and then 3 pouchfuls of 10mm Escort around that clear spot that I found. And then instead of fishing a withy pool rig, which is possibly a bit blatant, you know, having done a bit of research, a lot of people seem to be using wafters and, you know, low baits, you know, stuff that's near the bottom like a wafter or a snowman, that sort of thing. So if you've seen my video for my Itang de Manoir tactics, I'll link it down below. I show you how to tie a rig that I've been using, and the one that caught me my 64 pounder out in France, and that's this rig here, which is basically just a very low pop-up rig, but also what you can do, and I think I explained in that video, is that you can use it for a wafter or a bottom bait however you want to do it, really, in different sizes of baits. You know, if you want to fish double bait, you just have the floss a bit longer, so it's really versatile and it can be used in any situation. You know, if you want a higher pop-up, you just have the shot a bit further away, and it can be higher if you want, or you can have it really low if you just have the shot right at the end of the shrink tube. So basically it's a do-it-all rig, I think. I'm not claiming to have invented that, because I've seen things similar before, but yeah, it's just a rig that I've started using. So I'm going to use that tonight, so I can have maybe like a really low pop-up on one, so it's quite subtle, on the sort of more weedy spot that I found, and then I'm probably going to fish wafters on the other rigs, with little PVA sticks on there, just to kind of protect it from any debris that might be on the bottom. I recently got asked to join the Carp Craze PVA team in the UK, which I'm really happy about. You know, thanks guys, if you're watching this, guys at Carp Craze, that is. So they've sent me a load of their products to start using. So I've got their sort of stick and boilie mesh there, which is really nice because you've got 2 different sizes of PVA in there. You've got the 15mm sort of stick size PVA, and then the 22mm sort of more of a boilie size. So you can fish it like, you know, a stringer, sort of a boilie, or like, you know, you can have a bigger stick if you want, or like a really, really small thin stick. But it's good to have a stick on there, especially in weedy waters, just to kind of protect the point of the hook. And with this, because it's 15mm, you can have a really, really small stick, so it's not going to inhibit your casting. So yeah, I was saying about my spots, I'm going to have a bit of a rethink. So I was fishing 2 rods to the reeds on the point kind of opposite me, but as I've not had a take on there, I don't want to sort of commit 2 rods to it. I'm just going to have 1 rod in there, and then my other rod is going out right in open water. So I think there was a bailiff or someone who knows the lake really well came past in the car earlier on, and he said, "Oh, what spots are you fishing?" And I said, "Well, I've got, you know, one to the reeds and blah blah blah," and he said, "I've 21 wraps out towards a dip in the trees, so it's like 84 yards. There's a bit of a gravel spot out there." So I took his word for it, and I sort of had a bit of a plumb up with just a lead on the marker rod, and I found the spot that he was on about, and it's a bit of a gravel bar, and then over the back of it is quite a nice smooth silt. So I'm pretty excited that I found this spot, because, you know, my open water rod that I fished last night, it was just kind of clear out there, but there was no particular features. I mean, it was maybe next to a bit of gravel, but that came up really shallow, and I sort of went in the sort of side of it. But this is actually like a proper raised bit, and then I'm fishing over the back of it, so it's a bit of a patrol route for the fish, and any sort of food that lands on top of it will roll down. So yeah, I'm gonna fish there tonight with one of my wafter rigs with a little stick. I'm gonna keep one on the reeds because, you know, I put some bait there yesterday. I'm just gonna probably put 20 or so boilies around that spot just to sort of top it up, but I'm not gonna go crazy because, you know, I've not seen much activity around there. I don't want to kind of like keep putting more and more and more bait in. You know, I want them to kind of find what's there, and hopefully it's a bit more washed out and everything. So I'm having, you know, one on the reeds, one out on the open water spot that guy's put me onto, and then one sort of down to my right hand margin where I found this nice gravelly spot near some weed there, and I've seen lots of fish showing around there, particularly this morning. So I'm hoping that sometime tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning before I have to go something's going to happen, and you know, I'm a bit more confident now because I found these 3 spots that seem really good, and I've sort of seen fish in the areas, and I've had a tip off from the bailiff, so you know, I'm kind of doing everything right, it seems like now. You know, I was a bit blind when I got here yesterday and sort of guessed at what to do, but it didn't really pay off, so hopefully this little change of tactics now is going to pay off. And also the weather's changed, got a nice overcast now. It was really hot yesterday afternoon, but suddenly, you know, the sky's grey and it's looking a lot more promising for a bite, so I put a bit more bait out on that open water spot, probably, you know, a good sort of 20 or so small spoms, well, midi spoms I think they are, just of the escort and the hemp and the sweet corn. And yeah, I'm hoping that they're going to want to feed, you know, with this changing weather. The pressure's dropping slightly, it's looking good, you know, so yeah, I'm fairly confident that maybe next time I see you I'll be holding a fish, but if not, I'll update you at some point before I leave. Tomorrow I'm heading off to a sort of a syndicate water with my mate Matt. I'm probably not going to name that water just out of the sort of respect for people that fish there. It's a syndicate, but you can do kind of a guest session to give it a try if you're thinking about joining. And me and my mate are sort of thinking about joining somewhere that's kind of halfway for us, so we can meet up occasionally for sessions. So we're going to go give it a try on there, but I probably won't name it. But you know, make sure you check out that next video, because that's going to be great. It's a really nice looking lake and there's some nice fish in there, so hopefully we can get amongst some fish. But yeah, this video we'll see what happens tonight. We're going to have everything crossed as always, and I'm fairly confident now that I've got this slight change of tactics and I've got 3 spots that I'm confident in. I'm sort of fairly confident going into tonight that something could happen, so yeah, we'll see. It's still it's only 1 o'clock, so we've got plenty of time. I'm not going to rush to get the rods out. I didn't really start seeing activity until the afternoon yesterday, so, but you know, the late afternoon, early evening, so yeah, there's no point kind of putting the rods out too early really. So I'm just going to kind of get everything ready and have some lunch, and then yeah, I'll probably update you before I go to bed, and obviously any fish, we'll show you those as well. Right guys, I just wanted to run you through what I'm putting out on my rigs really. So one of them is just on a pineapple pop-up, so that's there, and you'll have seen that when I did that video on how to tie this rig. That's the sort of way you do it with a pop-up and have a shot on it, so that just pops up nicely a little bit off the bottom. So I'll probably fish that on the slightly weedier of my 3 spots that I've chosen, and then on the other spots I'm going to be using a little stick. So I've got some of the Escort 15mm boilies here. I'm just going to crumb up a few of those to make a bit of a stick mix. So I've got my crusher here, and literally just going to do a couple of handfuls because I don't need a lot, you know. But yeah, just crush a bit of that up. Need it really fine because you don't want any bits to catch on the hook point, and also it helps it be a bit lighter in the water, so it helps the rig kind of settle down because it's more buoyant, you know, because it's like a fine powder. So yeah, something like that you want. Do a couple more of those. Right, so next I'm going to make up a couple of sticks, and then I'm going to thread them down the rigs just to protect the hook point and to give really good presentation over the sort of slightly uncertain bottom debris that's out there. So I've got my stick and boilie PVA here from Carp Craze, and inside you actually get two different sizes, which is great, you know. So you've got like a boilie one there, which is really good, you know, for sort of slightly bigger sticks, and a really fine one here, which is probably the one that I'm going to use on this, to be honest with you. So I'll just put that down a minute and I'll make up a couple of sticks. So you just want, it's got like a bit of a funnel on this end, which is quite handy. You can kind of use that to scoop up any bait, and then you can plunge that down inside like this and just push it to the, like put your thumb over the end and just push it down there. You don't want to do it too tight for this. Sometimes you do, but on this I'm trying to sort of get it to fall fairly lightly through the water, you know, to not just sink like a stone. So I'm going to take that off, tie a couple of knots in it. So first one there gives you your stick, and then the next one you can tie close to it, so you can like just cut that off between the two knots. There we go. So I'll do a couple more of those, and then when you've finished, it's really important to put it away inside its tube, because obviously with it being PEVA, any moisture that gets in there is going to melt it. So keep it in a tube all the time. Never just leave it lying around, because you might spill something on it, or you know, the ground might be wet or whatever. So yeah, once you've got your little sticks like this, you want to use a baiting needle and pierce through it. Now here's that same rig I just showed you with the pineapple pop-up on it, but this time I've got it with one of my half snowman setups. So I've got half a white Escort pop-up and a 15mm bottom bait, and it works perfectly because, you know, you can adjust the size of the bait just with what floss you're using. And I haven't put any putty on it yet because I want to slide this stick down it, and the putty would just get in the way. So you just thread that on like that, and pull your little stick down and just have the hook point kind of protected like that. So it's not kind of pulled right in, but it's, you know, it's kind of in the edge, and that will just, because that's just dry boilie crumb, it's quite buoyant. So when I cast out, that should sort of fall down really slow and just sit on top of any weed. And I've got a fairly long hook link here as well to also help if there's any weed down there. So that's what's going out on my left hand rod, which is going over to the reeds there on the point, and also I'm going to put that out on my right hand rod, which is going over to the clear spot in the weed that I found off to my right where the fish was showing. And then all I do to finish it off is a blob of putty here just near the hook, which helps the hook to drop down when the fish picks it up, and also another blob of putty a bit further up there, just to help the hook link sink really and keep it all pinned down out of the way. Here we are. I actually can't believe it, but we landed one, which is just a massive relief, because you know, I've been seeing fish the whole time I've been here, been in the right areas. You know, I've just been pulling my hair out really, thinking what can I do to get one. And that little change of tactics you saw with slightly different rigs, a bit more subtle, you know, fishing a little stick to protect the hook point from all the weed and everything. and it's paid off. Yeah, 1 in the morning on Sunday morning. We'll be leaving here in about 8 hours time, I suppose. And yeah, we've pulled it out the bag. Best get it up to show you. It's absolutely immaculate looking. It's a scraper 20, so £20 4 ounces. And there we are. I really don't care about size because it's my first Orchid Lake fish and my first session here, so absolutely buzzing. Not in the Alamo, which everyone seems to want to get on this lake. And yeah, we've managed to nick one. This was on my left-hand rod, which was on that reed line, on that point where I said, you know, I think the fish will be patrolling round. And I've been sort of scattering out a few boilies in between seagulls, little and often today, putting out sort of 5 or 6 every couple of hours just to keep a bit of smell in the area. I didn't put any more spawns. Didn't put any more spawns of bait out because I figured, you know, I've not had a bite, and I put sort of 10 to 12 spawns out when I got here, so just a few boilies would be enough. And yeah, there's the result. So made up with that, made the trip worthwhile. Well, stunning morning, buzzing to have got that £20 blank saver. The run of jammy captures continues. If you saw my French video, you'll know what I mean by that. But yeah, last morning here at Orchid, look at that out there. Such a stunning place. I've never been before, but I'll certainly be coming back. I think it's 18 acres of carpy goodness, loads of 30s in here. They call it the home of the 30s, I think. But yeah, still got my rods out, as you can see down there. Going to be packing up in about 3 hours time. I'll be packing up and heading to the reservoir for part 2 of this little road trip series, the 2019 road trip. So if you've enjoyed this video, remember to thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't miss the other videos that are in this little series. We're going to be doing four sessions on this trip. So got the reservoir coming up next, then the River Trent, and finally Bluebell Lakes if we can get on there. So should be quite exciting, I think. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've done my best to catch a fish. Our little change of tactics worked last night, just coming away from the pop-ups and fishing the balanced bottom baits with you know, half a pop-up on the top. It can be a good trick on pressured waters to fish something a bit more subtle, and I think the little PVA bag just helped present over the slightly dodgy bottom. There's a lot of weed out there, so yeah, happy days. Still fish showing this morning, so time for another. So yeah, if this video is slightly longer than, you know, this little section, then you'll know why. There'll be another fish at the end, so make sure you watch to the end. But yeah, if we don't have any more fish, that'll be the end. I'm sticking the kettle on and celebrating my jammy bit of luck last night. Right, so yeah, make sure you watch the next video, the reservoir, and yeah, I'll see you later.